talking about the entrepreneurial spirit in Europe, we are talking about you. So I can't say there is no entrepreneurial spirit. I do hope that many of you, and what we've heard already by the pitches, a lot of business ideas can really become true and develop into very successful businesses.
I think it was like 3 years ago, I had a glass of wine with a guy who was running a startup, and he was actually almost out of money. Actually, his cash left was like for 30 days or something. His burn rate was like 500,000 a month, and he was completely easy about it. He was not concerned. He was not afraid. He said, well, either I raise some money, either I find some solution, or I shut down my company and do the next one. And this guy's name was Chad Hurley, he was the founder of YouTube, right? Which was like, at the edge sometimes, but he found funding and he sold it to Google eventually. And it was a great deal and a great success.
Being able to define the playground, like bigger than what you're used to see in the past. We've touched it before in another discussion, like you're born as someone from Vienna in my case, then sometime you realize that you're actually Austrian. Still you are used to Schilling, and you know that like 45 minutes car drive east, the East Block starts, and you never went there. So basically getting more and more open to actually jump into the plane and fly to Germany or to Brussels or to New York and pitch a media company for this as a customer with maybe the same effort than it would need to go to, not in your case Styria or to Graz, but you might deal with like bigger partners putting in the same effort. I think that's also kind of a European thing where I would strongly recommend be more self-confident, because it's not a matter of skill set, it's not a matter of creativity, it's a matter of basically self-confidence, and it's a matter of, are you outgoing, and did your history prove that you can success if you're outgoing?
Are you an entrepreneur because you want to make a lot of money, or are you an entrepreneur because you have in your mind a way the world can be that's better? And if you're the latter, then I think it is possible to kind of create parameters for what kind of idea I should develop. But if you're of the former, then conceptualization in that way is it doesn't lend itself well to some kind of like goal. I mean, like with our startup now, it is the latter. Like it is a philosophy about how information is monetized, and that to think on our side, on the founder side, to think that this idea, or that I would mold it or shape it, or even create some kind of like abstract financial metric of success is for us absurd.
Yeah, I mean, I think there in Europe, I find a lot of sort of startups, the way they look at raising money is winning the lottery, and it's just like, oh my god, that's it, game over, I'm done now. I've raised $1 million, now I can go on my yacht. And no, that's actually the start of like having to do a hell of a lot of work, much harder work, because you've got to make something of that investment you've just raised. So it's got a really warped sense of sort of perspective in Europe, particularly around raising money.
In my opinion, if I start something, and if I'm not afraid of, winding down the company or filing for bankruptcy or whatsoever, I start the next one, I start the next one, I start the next one, and eventually I'm gonna win. Plus, it's also a mistake to go for the Facebook, right? I mean, inventing a Facebook these days, it's like winning in the lottery. It's just simply more or less luck.